Oh, Fiziev. I'm going to see Fiziev. Pull it into the Apex right now. I'm going to see Fiziev in about an hour. So, if I have a chance to speak with him, I'll get back to you guys. But let me see. I'm stalling here as I look around. I'm seeing if Fiziev is here yet, and we can go grab him real fast. So Fiziev goes on Helwani's program yesterday. And Fiziev's down, man. He's down in the dumps. He's feeling the post-fight blues. He's talking about changing weight classes. And I don't love it. Now, I should disclose to you, I really like Fiziev. I met Fiziev 2 weeks ago. He was nice to me. You know how that goes. That's how you make a fan, right? Treated me very nicely, and I got to watch him work out. And he is very, very skilled. So, he also had an attitude going to that fight with Justin Gaethje. He had an attitude of appreciation. He was not pessimistic about it. He was not thinking, short notice and let me start laying the foundation for my excuse. He'd have every right to be doing that right now. Right now, he could have gone on Ariel's show and just, I knew I knew it was going to be a hard fight. It's Justin Gaethje, and I wasn't prepared, but, the company called, and the fans deserve it. He could have done that whole thing, and he'd have gotten away with it. I would have liked to have seen him do a little of that on Ariel's show as a way of building a bridge to a completely different topic, which is a call-out of somebody at 155. Guys always call out winners. I'm just sharing for you, just to be a little different. You could call out a loser sometimes. Like when you have two stars that are going to fight, you can then fight the loser. Say, I'm coming off a loss, so I'm going to wait till Chandler and Patty, and whoever comes in second in that one, we'll fight each other and then get back on a winning path. I mean, right now, whether that catches on or not, all of a sudden, because you guys would love to see that. You'd love to see Fiziev versus Patty or Fiziev versus Chandler or the winner or the loser or any way that it goes to get Fiziev in the ring with one of those two killers. Just for example. You would love to see Fiziev in the ring with Money Moicano. Forget about next fights, win, loses. You don't even have to do that whole math. You would love to see that. And I would have liked if Fiziev would have built a bridge to that topic. And my sense after meeting Fiziev, my sense after watching Fiziev and listening to him on Ariel's show, my sense is he's a really humble guy and he doesn't know that you guys like him. That's my sense. If he knew you would find it to be a really big fight for him getting involved in the Patty Chandler situation or making himself an alternate for that fight or saying that he demanded it. I said I would do the UFC this favor if they do me one. And my favor is just that I'm a backup for that fight. I'm out there, I'm licensed, I'm trained, I get a little participation, I get a fight if anything opens up. Like, I just think that topic would have been so much more powerful and effective. But I think Fiziev is humble. And when you get these humble guys, Raychik is going through it right now. Raychik is so far and away the best 205-pounder. So far and away. But because he had Prohaska and he had Ankalaev and he's 0-2 in the last year, he sees himself differently. Raychik doesn't know. He doesn't know that he can come out and start making calls and demands. But he should. He had to take a page out of Jamal Hill's book, quite frankly. Jamal Hill doesn't let anything in the past affect what he's going to do today or in the future. And I'm just sharing for you. I want you to think about that because Fiziev is talking about going down to 145. First off, that's not a great idea. I mean, it's just the years of your career, and when the whole career is done, the only thing that's real is the money and the miles. How much traveling you did and how much money you made, that's the only thing that you're going to have left. You will shorten your career by going to 145 pounds. And historically speaking, you can't find me examples where that has worked. You could historically find it the other way, where a 45-pounder becomes a 55-pounder. Max Holloway loses his fight at 145. He's the champion BMF of 155, just for a recent example. Conor McGregor walks away from 45, goes up, has maybe the best performance in UFC history against Eddie Alvarez. I mean, just by example. Daniel Cormier at 205 lets it go. Up to heavyweight, becomes a champion. Like, it doesn't really work going in reverse. And that doesn't mean it won't work for Fiziev, but I am right that it'll shorten his career. The number one reason guys retire is because they don't want to make weight anymore. They blame it on contracts. They talk about money. Some of them will go to injury. Some of them just say, hey, I just had enough. Khabib's a fine example. Khabib versus McGregor. They kept adding zeros to that contract. They were looking at the wrong number. If they would have made that fight 170 pounds, they'd have gotten Khabib. It is the number one reason guys retire. And Fiziev doesn't know that right now. He's looking at 145. I listened to what he said. He said, I can do it. I didn't have a hard time making 55. I'm a 45-pounder. I want a fresh coat of paint. And he would get all of those things. Like, he would get looked at in a brand new way. But, you know, where do you want to begin? You got to find him an opponent. And that was another thing. Fiziev had talked about the guys at 145, and he said, I want to fight with the top guys. But he didn't say who. And he didn't do that because he was being a dum-dum. He did that for the same reason that Rachik won't do that. As a sportsman, he believes when you're coming off a loss, you don't have the right to call somebody out. And I don't hate the idea of Fiziev at 145, but I don't like the idea that Fiziev lost that fight to Justin Gaethje on conditioning. It came down to the third round. It's one apiece, and now it's a battle of who can go harder. Who can literally throw more punches? Whoever that one is that throws the most punches. Forget about effective and significant and whatever the hell those words even mean. Whoever does the most output is going to win this round. That happened to be Gaethje, but Gaethje also happened to be on a full camp. And Gaethje was also stepping down. Don't forget what a night off it is for Justin Gaethje to do 3 rounds. That's where that championship experience comes in. Justin Gaethje's 5-round ready. Justin Gaethje's last fight was scheduled for 5 rounds. Like, going 3 was no problem. Fiziev, meanwhile, is on the outside, probably not expecting a main event or a title shot. 5 rounds wasn't on his mind. He steps into a 3 atmosphere, but he's stepping with a guy that's prepared for it. I mean, the excuses for Fiziev and the outcome of that match, his performance was great. The outcome of the match went for the other guy. And it's very understandable why. I wouldn't have hated if Fiziev had talked about that. I wouldn't have hated if Fiziev laid out and let Ariel tell that story for him the way I'm doing it right now. And I can get behind 45 for Fiziev. I mean, that's what he says. It's very hard to put him at 55. Right? If a guy says I'm a 45-pounder, you got to take him at his word. But Fiziev at 45 is not nearly as attractive as Fiziev versus at 45. I would have liked to have heard a name.